Hi everyone, I hope you're all going okay. Hope you've gone okay going back to school this week if you've gone back to school. And we hope that you have enjoyed this time where we are reflecting and learning to just rest and be with God and hear from Him. I have with me Stephen Davey today, and he is going to share with us some things about how he enjoys resting and being with God. But Stephen, do you want to tell us a little bit about something that you've enjoyed about this COVID life and something that's been a challenge over the last few months?
Yeah, sure, Peter. Hi, everyone. For me, I was one of the people who sort of went from work to zero work, overnight. And I did struggle with that. I was actually shocked how difficult I found it. But the first few weeks, it was hard going to doing nothing. And then at the same time, the doing, not having work was a blessing as well. I was just saying to Peter, one thing that came out of COVID for Fiona and I was that it sort of accelerated us to buy a caravan, which we now have, and I'm in at the moment. So, that was a good thing about it.
Yeah, so good. And you're enjoying a little holiday away in your caravan, and having a great time in your mind. That's awesome. For us in this time of reflection, we all kind of reflect and rest with God in different ways. But what is it for you, Stephen, that you're like, this is a way that I really love to rest and reflect with God?
Yeah. For me, resting and reflecting, with God, connecting with God, like one thing that's important for me is, and you can't always do it, but is the space, like I have, I suppose, some special places that I go, like in my house, I have a chair in a room. That's a go-to spot in my backyard. There's a spot I go to, and I know that when I enter those places, I don't know, there's like, an intentionality about connecting with God and entering into His rest. And when I have longer time, where I live, in the area, I have special places. Like I live a lot of my life in the suburb of Greenacre, and there was two parks there, Mount Lewis Park and Stacey Street Park, that, I had special park benches that I would go to, and they were both on high ground overlooking sort of the city of Bankstown, and just had some wonderful times connecting with God, on those park benches. It's like moving to Terry Hills a couple of years ago. Probably about a year back, I found a special place over here now, like down the end of our street, there's a fire trail called the Perimeter Track, and off it there's a little track, dead end track, 20 minutes and you come to this rocky outcrop thing, and it's a very beautiful spot, and that's my go-to spot now. Started COVID, as I say, was struggling in those early weeks. I was often down, to my rocky outcrop and connecting with God.
Sounds amazing. Sounds so good. It sounds similar to me in that I have a couple of spaces that I love to go to. But something as well that I struggle with, that quite a few of us probably do as well, is just stopping and actually taking that time to rest. So if you had one tip for someone like me, or like a few of us that struggle with stopping and resting with God, what would you say to them?
Yeah, I don't know about a tip, but maybe a testimony from the past about stopping. And that was like in my working life, I've had a couple of stints as a taxi driver. And, taxi driving is one of those jobs where you're sort of always chasing, going hard, looking for that next job and pushing. And, I like the job, but it would wear you down, grind you down kind of job at times. And anyway, I just remember one season there in the taxi driving, the Lord saying, I want you to stop, middle of your shift or whatever, pull over and just sit with me for the half hour or whatever. And I remember at first I would start to do it, but I would still have the taxi radio on in case a job came up. I couldn't miss a job, but I realized that the Lord didn't want, that I had to actually turn everything off and sit, and just have some time with Him. And when I started doing that, like, it made such a difference, it just, so it's just so important entering into that rest. And like thinking about this, I wanted to share a scripture, Peter. Is that okay?
Yeah, please do.
Yeah. So in Hebrews 4:10, it says, anyone who enters God's rest also rest from their works, just as God did from his. Let us therefore make every effort to enter that rest, so that no one will perish by following their example of disobedience. I find it interesting in Hebrews, also in Corinthians, you know, it connects rest with obedience. You know, in there he's talking about the Israelites in the Old Testament and how those who disobeyed God did not enter into his rest, whereas those who obeyed him entered into it. And so it's a very important thing that, to enter into his rest. And there's this link with obedience. So, and I suppose my little taxi story there about finally obeying and turning the radio off is, you know, a little practical example of that.
Yeah. Love that. That's awesome, guys. Such a fantastic tip. And I'd actually never thought of it like that, you know, resting in obedience they're very linked. And space to listen as well. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing with us. That was awesome. Guys, have a fantastic week with your resting, and we really look forward to seeing you very soon. Go well with God, go well with resting with him, and we'll see you very soon.
Bye.